Hello, everybody, and welcome here to Rio Grande Credit Union Field at the Lab. It is the final game of the 2022 opening week for USL Championship between New Mexico United and Las Vegas Lights FC. Tonight's match is presented by NM Solar Group, New Mexico's #1 solar company. My name's Tyler Ortega, joined as always by Chris Hurst. Chris, first time in 876 days, Las Vegas Lights visiting the Lab. Man, this is going to be such a fun one tonight. Over 10,000 tickets sold already. This place is going to be rocking.
Yeah, and you can feel the anticipation, right? The new season, the clean slate. No one liked, obviously, the way that the last season ended, but new coach, new staff, new players, new beginning. Hopefully it's the beginning of a long journey for into the playoffs for New Mexico United, especially as the home faithful, all 10,000 of them will be hoping today.
You know, lots to get into here tonight, but first, let's go ahead and jump into today's Players to Watch, brought to you by NM Solar Group. And we'll go ahead and start off first here with the midfielder for New Mexico United, 28-year-old Chris Wehan, the all-time club leader in goals and assists for the Black and Yellow, Chris.
Yeah, and Chris Wehan, obviously so important in the past, and this year with the new look New Mexico United offense on show today, will be really interesting to see how that gels moving forward. But he's going to be such a pivotal player for them moving into the season here.
And on the other side, for Las Vegas Lights, we're going to be looking at LAFC loanee, the 24-year-old from Atlanta, Georgia, forward Cal Jennings. He started 20 matches last year for Las Vegas Lights. He scored 11 times, Chris. Dangerous.
Yeah, 4 assists as well, which was joint top assister for Las Vegas last year. Obviously, you know, a bright spot in a very disappointing season for them. Scored a hat-trick against Phoenix Rising in a 6-3 loss. What a game that was back in October.
We're going to step aside for just a moment. We'll be back with lineups and kickoff on the other side of this.
Proudly celebrating our 86th anniversary. Since 1936, we have been the Southwest's premier home furnishings and mattress retailer. Come celebrate with us. Save up to 30% store-wide. Shop special purchases and hot buys for every room in your home. Plus, take advantage of 24-month financing and free front door delivery. Thank you for supporting independently, locally owned businesses. American Home Furniture and Mattress. We guarantee you'll pay less.
Straight down into the core of the earth, 700 feet beneath the surface, stalagmites and stalactites, million-year-old all-stars in a natural stadium, carved by water, populated by bats, and marveled by all. Carlsbad Caverns National Park.
Game time.
Moments away from kickoff here at the Lab. Tyler Ortega, Chris Hurst here on hand for this first matchup of the 2022 campaign. New Mexico United, Las Vegas Lights FC. Let's look here at the starting lineups presented by Michelob Ultra. We'll go ahead and start off first with the home side, Chris. Of course, you've got the stalwart in goal. It's Alex Tambakis. You're going to see the back three from Zach Prince today, and then the attacking trio of Weehan, Nico Brett, and Preston Tabor Ataka. This is going to be exciting.
Yeah, excited to see. I imagine Weehan might be just in behind, floating in the space in behind Brett and Preston, but we'll see how that shapes up. But yeah, really attacking lineup for Zach Prince's first game there.
And here for Las Vegas Lights, you're going to see Romero in goal, Alejandro Lara, the new acquisition from Hartford, who did not actually play for Hartford whenever they visited the Lab last year. See Torres in the midfield, Daroma as well. Man, this is looking good.
Yeah, and again, another team with a new coach, so, you know, really, in terms of doing homework, really hard to work out how they're actually going to set up, but will be real interesting in the opening stages here.
These are tonight's Garcia Automotive Group keys to the game. Keep the press high, play with verticality, and eliminate turnovers near the New Mexico goal. And here for today's injury report, brought to you by Ben Sherman Law, injured at work. Ben Sherman can help. We're told that there's just one name on that injury report for New Mexico United. It's Alejandro Moreno. And with that, the 2022 New Mexico United season is underway here at the Lab. New Mexico, of course, in the home black uniforms. Here's Suggs already. New Mexico looking to start off quick, Chris. And what a storybook start that would have been, as Preston unable to head that down.
I mean, that would have been a great start for New Mexico United, but, you know, very unfortunate for Las Vegas there. A slip by the right back on the right-hand side there allows Josh Suggs to just drift in behind. Stands up a lovely ball into the middle of the goal there, and yeah, he's just wide open and just puts it just over the bar.
So, looking here at a formation for Las Vegas Lights, we should be expecting to see a back four here today. So we'll keep an eye on that as things progress. That is Thomas Romero, our starter here today out of Cherry Hill, New Jersey. Previously played with Bethlehem Steel as well. It's going to be a throw in here for New Mexico United. Harry Swartz back on the pitch for the black and yellow, Chris, after missing much of last season with a sports hernia. You know New Mexico United fans are very excited to see 33 back out there.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, and you know, and that's probably something that maybe they missed towards the end of the season. He's got such an engine on him, getting up and down. You know, wing backs inherently have to do a lot of miles in a game, and obviously he's suited to that really well.
It's going to be a throw into Lights here. Throwing this is Mohamed Traore out of Senegal. Played at the Montverde Academy in Florida. Also had one appearance last season for LAFC. You're going to hear that a lot here tonight. Lights do have the affiliation with LAFC of Major League Soccer, so there's a number of players that are on loan or that have prior experience with either of the clubs. As we are seeing our first Fiesta Auto Group free kick of the 2022 campaign. Now, let's shine a light on our coaches today with our Coach Spotlight presented by PNM. First off, Zach Prince, his first year at the helm for New Mexico United. Of course, was the first assistant since the inception of the club. Prince, you know, this is his first permanent managerial job, Chris. However, not his first time on the touchline for the black and yellow, as obviously Troy Lesane missed a few games last season, the season before, with the birth of his daughter. So Zach Prince has already got some experience. Yeah,
and you know, you can see it just looks. I'm so used to seeing him in Puma on the sidelines. It's just it's going to take a little getting used to, right? But new beginnings, new start. You know, we obviously, you know, both head coaches starting with their new teams. It's a huge day.
It's massive, you know, and that was something that Zach Prince was asked in this week's press conference if we were going to see a suit this weekend, and he said he didn't know. So
he said it with a smile on his face, though, right?
Yeah, a little bit of tongue in cheek, but yeah, Zach Prince looking good down there at least. And now on the other side, for our coaches spotlight, it's Enrique Duran, Chris, also in his first season as a head coach, having Steve Cherundolo moved on to LAFC. He worked as an assistant for Las Vegas Lights last year, and quite the resume for Enrique Duran, having worked with FC Barcelona, the Johan Cruyff organization as well. Pedigree. Yeah,
and LAFC, like, you know, you speak to any of the guys involved in, you know, MLS Next, that kind of program, and they talk about how the LAFC they're doing it right now, you know. So anyone who's involved in that program, like you say, has pedigree. So it's going to be really interesting again to see, and it's going to be really interesting a front three against the back three. How New Mexico United and Zach Prince decide, work out how to deal with that.
See, the supporters section is full. Here's Daroma, turns and loses possession. Sam Hamilton comes down with it here for New Mexico. Here's Nico Brett, the new acquisition. Swartz now. Swartz lofts it in. Goes over the head of everybody. Josh Suggs one-times it. And sends it wide. And the first action for New Mexico. And actually, it's going to be a goal kick here for Lights. It looks like Romero might have gotten a fingertip on it, but again, this is Thomas Romero. Played his college soccer over at Georgetown, where he made 12 appearances. Also came through the Philadelphia Union Youth Academy. Ball lofted in, and looking for Trejo. Trejo's able to corral this. He's marked by Yearwood. Danny Trejo with a couple of step-overs, and there's Austin Yearwood to thwart the attack, and Yearwood probably fouled in there. That one going to be called back by our official. That's Gerald Flores. ARs on either side. We have Christian Clerk and Ethan Booge. And our fourth official tonight is Jamie Crosby. So Yearwood earns the free kick here. We'll get it back to Alex Tambakis, the Athenian of Athens, Greece. 84 saves last year on 121 shots faced. That was good enough for to be tied for 7th overall in USL Championship in total number of saves. He did concede 37 goals, but had 7 clean sheets on the year, which was tied for 11th overall in the championship. You know, and speaking of guys coming back from injury, Chris, Sam Hamilton, what a joy it is to see number 4 back on the pitch for the black and yellow.
Yeah, for sure. And, you know, he embodies everything that is, you know, right with this organization, right? With Sam, you know, obviously you could see a horrible injury. It was interesting when he was dribbling forward before. I noticed it was.
Here's Weehan, takes a step over, Chris Weehan, and he just loses possession. Sorry to cut you off there, Chris.
No, it's okay. Let's say it was right around the place where he got the injury. You know, it was down at this end of the field that Las Vegas Lights are defending there this first half. So
here's Cal Jennings, pokes it forward. That's Torres. Torres brings it back, looking for the cross. Daroma. Now back here on the near side to Traore. It's going to be a throw in here for Lights. Sam Hamilton, of course, if you hung out with us here last season, you might have been watching on July 9th when he tried to make a tackle and ended up fracturing his fibula, which led to him missing the remainder of the season. But he's looked good in training lately, Chris. We saw him feature quite a bit throughout the preseason, and back to his normal role as a holding midfielder.
Yeah, and, you know, he's been moved around a little bit, you know, under Troy Lesesne, played a lot of time at centre-back, and, yeah, I remember the injury. I believe it was a misplaced pass by Caelan Ryden, and he dove into a tackle to save a goal, and obviously, you know, it was, you know, it happens, right? But, yeah, he was out for a long time. I think he was on the bench maybe for the last game of the season. He was just about ready to come back towards the end of the season. I'm sure he's been itching to get back in the starting lineup.
That ball headed forward by Quesada. Now with Justin Portillo looking for Nico Brett over the top. Lots of new faces here for New Mexico United. There's another one. It's Preston Taborda-Taka. Here's Preston. Tries to thread it through for Suggs. Preston comes back in possession, goes to ground, no foul, says the official. Portillo goes for the trip, and eventually the foul is called.
Portillo will be lucky to get away with a yellow card here, without getting a yellow card, sorry, because clearly just wanted to stop the attack. Upset that maybe the call wasn't given, and the foul there where Preston certainly felt like he was all over his back there. I could see why he went down. You've seen them given, but play on, and then Portillo comes flying in there and just ends the counter-attack.
As you saw there, tonight's replays are brought to you by TLC Plumbing. TLC is the leader in New Mexico when it comes to home and business service needs. Here's Quesada, scoops this one forward for Crisostomo. Crisostomo knocks it off Josh Suggs. It's going to be a throw-in here for the visitors. And when it comes to kit matchups, these two teams on this one pitch with the New Mexico United with the black Meow Wolf lights with their away white kits, this is quite an intriguing matchup, I would say. Here's Swartz. Swartz tries to get by Traore, and Swartz goes to ground. No foul called. Looks like it's going to be a goal kick.
See, just as Traore got up there, he just had a little niggle there at Schwartz's head while he was on the ground. You can say, I don't think there was any foul there. He was just strong, really good strength by Traore, actually. And you get the feeling he's probably going to be busy tonight, both the outside backs of Las Vegas, because, the flying wing backs of New Mexico United. But yeah, I think that was just really good defending, and Schwartz just came out on the wrong side of it.
It's Thomas Romero. Thomas Romero represents the El Salvadorian national team, La Selecta. He's made appearances for their U17, U23, and most recently their senior team, making his debut back in November, which New Mexico United fans, if you're lining up your timeline, Moreno, represents La Selecta as well. He went down in October, the middle of October, so these two have not crossed paths just yet on the senior team. Obviously, Armando Moreno, still recovering from the torn ACL that was suffered in October at San Diego Loyal. Here's Traore, plays it across, and it goes right into the waiting arms of Alex Tambakis.
Little warning there for New Mexico United. You can see how strong Jennings is there. Keelan Wrighton tried to win the ball, and obviously Keelan Wrighton is not, he's not exactly a weakling back there, and he just kind of shrugged them off, rolled the ball out wide, and it was a comfortable shot for Tambakis. But yeah, a little warning sign there where Las Vegas got numbers up on the weak side.
Ball just missed hit. Weehan unable to win the aerial duel against Lara. However, this ball flicked forward. Preston is through. Preston just sends it wide. And you can tell exactly what that meant to him as Preston Taborda-Taka was looking to open up his New Mexico United account.
And you could see, Brett, as well, that if that's the chemistry that those two already have there, it was like they were on completely the same page. Just a no-look, first time, just flick over the top, and Preston was on his bike and just nudged it outside of the post there. But keeper was beaten if it was inside the post.
Jennings tries to flick this on. It falls down to DeRoma in the midfield. Pressure being applied by Nico Brett. And you saw it right there, Chris, the pace that New Mexico United now possess up top. Here's Harry Swartz. And Swartz has that one stolen away by Traore.
That's a great recovery. Great recovery by Traore there. You can see he's, again, mentioned it earlier, he's going to have his hands full today. Swartz wants to get forward at every opportunity, but so far, more than a match for him.
That's Justin Portillo, the New Orleans, Louisiana native. He's made 11 appearances for RSL and Major League Soccer. He's also spent time with Charleston and Real Monarchs in USL prior to his stop here with the black and yellow. Torres plays this up ahead to Trejo. Trejo is still in possession. Here's Danny Trejo. A couple of step overs, threads it through now. And Suggs in there to do some defensive work. And Nico Brett now trying to turn and get ahead of Lara. Unable to do so now. Quesada plays this forward. Here's Jennings. Jennings just ran out of options. Here's Portillo. Kalen Ryden, first time we've said his name today.
First time you said his name. I was talking about him before.
I sometimes listen to you. It's like 14th minute. First joke of the season.
There we go.
I missed it, man. It's so good to be back. Obviously, as you mentioned in the pregame, things not ending the way that New Mexico United supporters wanted to last year. Despite the victory on the final match day, the dominoes just didn't fall for New Mexico to make it into the playoffs. So they've got some high aspirations this year.
Yeah, and you know, they're a bit of an underdog, right? Like, no one from outside the organization has really given them much of a chance in terms of the power rankings, odds for lifting the cup. And I know there's 20 plus guys in that locker room who believe that this will be the year, though.
Vice captain Kalen Ryden. Captain's just announced for New Mexico United. Of course, it is Josh Suggs just receiving the ball there right on cue. The Las Cruces native, USL's all-time leader in minutes played, Josh Suggs, coming back for his 4th season as club captain here for the Black and Yellow. Sam Hamilton also in his 4th season as vice captain, and Kalen Ryden in his 2nd season as vice captain. Swartz able to pick this one away. Here's Weehan. Weehan looking to play a long ball up top and lets Preston run for it, and Romero has to come out and deal with it.
There was a split second there where I thought Romero was going to pick that up just outside the box, and I think he contemplated it as well. But you can see the pace of New Mexico United and those front two there are definitely causing the two centre-backs and the back line for Las Vegas Lights some issues.
Swartz goes to ground, and it's just going to be a throw in here. And all 10,000 plus here at the lab that, of course, don't agree with the official's decision, letting him hear it. Long ball played forward. It goes off the head of Alexi Sawahi, and actually the offside flag is up on the near side. Sawahi, another new addition to this New Mexico United team, coming over from Louisville City, where he spent the last 4 seasons, made 82 appearances, scored 5 goals. Here's Swartz. He's got Brett in front of him. Swartz will cut it in. I don't think Portillo was necessarily expecting that ball from Harry Swartz, and Portillo called again for the foul. That's a few early on, just in the 17th minute.
You can see he's getting a little frustrated. He's been having a few words with the referee as well about decisions that he feels, are maybe a little unjust or haven't gone New Mexico United's way. And yeah, Chris Weehan talked about it in the press conference this week, where all these new players, they haven't played in front of the home crowd, the home faithful here, and they just need to control those emotions and get the early game jitters out of the way.
This is Torres. Torres looking far post, nobody there. Get some applause from Danny Trejo, but Trejo isn't really relatively close to that. You see Alex Tambakis, who's filled in admirably here at New Mexico United, was a late acquisition prior to the start of last season following MLS champion Cody Mizell's departure. Got to get that in there. Shout out to Cody Mizell. There's Quesada. Scoops it forward. Trejo now. Looking for the through ball. He's got Crisostomo. And the cross goes into the box, and Kalen Ryden is there.
Again, there's just a couple of little warnings there. There was a little run from in to out, and just split the New Mexico United back three with just a little far away from each other, so there was that channel to run through there, and they've got pace as well going forwards.
This, we are seeing our Bank of America corner kick with over 4,600 locations. Convenient banking is just around the corner. Crisostomo to deliver. Out of San Francisco, California, made 10 appearances for LAFC last season. Ball glanced off the head of Cal Jennings, and it's dealt with by New Mexico. Here's Yearwood now. Yearwood able to get by Traore. Hamilton looking up ahead, and Hamilton decides to pull it back and relieve some of the pressure. Austin Yearwood, who you could probably make the argument was New Mexico's best defender last season.
he's had an unbelievable couple of years. Like, he's just so consistent. You know, he doesn't look like he's the most physical, player, but he's so strong, and ever present, and very rarely has an off day.
Yearwood, one of 5 players that have been on this roster since day one, joined by Hamilton, Suggs, Rashid Tete, who's not in the 18 today, and of course Daniel Bruce. If you're saying, wait a second, what about Chris Weehan? Well, of course, he spent the first half of last season at Orange County prior to his transfer back. So just 5 players on this roster since day one, 4 of them native New Mexicans. Of course, you've got Ford Parker, who was just announced a little bit over a week ago, backup goalkeeper who grew up here in Albuquerque. We've also got Sergio Rivas, another Albuquerque native. Here's Cal Jennings, and he gets the shot on goal, but a big save from Alex Tambakis.
We talked about Cal Jennings before the game, didn't we? And we said, he's allowed to just he's allowed to dribble into a dangerous area, and decided to just have a pop, and Tambakis did well, not only to save it, but to push it away from danger.
Quesada pokes this one forward for Crisostomo. Now, if you're wondering why the crowd suddenly started cheering once Jennings got that shot on frame, they're not applauding him. This is something that takes place every New Mexico United matches. I'll finish that in just a moment. Preston tries to put a shot on frame and ultimately sends it wide, but this is called the magic minute. So it starts at the 19-minute, 12-second mark, and that's to signify the year that New Mexico was officially recognized as a state in 1912, and they're going to stop cheering at the 20-minute, 18-second mark to signify the year that New Mexico United was announced as a club. So again, this is called the magic minute. It's something that happens every single home game. I've got chills sitting here in the stadium, Chris.
It is pretty cool to see, right? Yes, it happens every game, but almost a full house today. It just makes it that little bit more special. A little bit more special,
and of course, this was a tradition, an idea that was brought forth by the first ever head coach and technical director in New Mexico United history, that being Troy Lesane. Brought this idea to the table in one of the staff meetings and thought it was brilliant, and here we are in year 4. Incredible. And the cool thing is United fans, I've been to a number of away days, and they do this on the road as well. Just something that travels. It's really cool to see new traditions being started up here. While we've got a second, ladies and gentlemen, celebrating its 75th anniversary, Select is proud to be the official match ball supplier of the USL Championship. Choose what you play with at selectsportamerica.com. Select, League's choice, player's choice. Here's Suggs. Back to the North Carolina native Austin Yearwood. Lights now in possession. Quesada has that poked away by Preston. Portillo squeaks it through. Good through ball. Here's Preston on the near side. You can see the pace from Preston to Bortataka. Nobody there on the other side for the cross. And Traore deals with it. Kalen Ryden making his 47th appearance for New Mexico United. His 46th start. Talk about a defensive stalwart. Led United in clearances, blocks, and aerial duels won last year. Here's Weehan. Back to Sawahi. Weehan tried a little give and go with his new teammate. Alexi Sawahi made 30 appearances, 18 of those starts last year for Louisville City. Here's Lara. It's going to be a throw in here for New Mexico. You can see an absolutely gorgeous day here in Albuquerque, 66 degrees. Despite what that says, I promise you the humidity is not 210%.
Might be minus 210%.
It's probably about 10%, but an absolutely perfect day out here, Chris. A slight breeze. For it being March, you really couldn't ask for anything better.
Oh, for sure. And obviously we've had It's been cold. It's been a cold early, I mean, if you want to call it early spring or whatever, but it is an absolutely beautiful day, and I think that's helped, obviously, some, people making up their minds whether they were going to come down to the field today and watch the match. It's a beautiful afternoon for a game.
Hamilton nutmegged there by Traore. Here's Daroma. He's got Swartz on him.
Roma really good on the ball there. Tight area, 2 New Mexico United players biting at his ankles and still managed to wriggle out of it and connect the pass as well. Really good stuff in there.
Daroma out of Sierra Leone. Made 32 appearances for Lights in 2021. Made his debut on Cinco de Mayo, actually, in a 5-0 loss to Los Dos. Here's Trejo now, and that shot is blocked by Austin Yearwood. Yearwood limping around a little bit. Let's hope he's okay, and eventually Austin Yearwood goes to ground. Now, if you're New Mexico United, this spells trouble as you look at the subs here, Chris, and there's not another center back on the bench for Zach Prince.
Yeah, it would probably mean a change of formation, or obviously, Sam Hamilton has played at the back in a defensive 3 specifically as well. So that is obviously an option. I didn't see what happened. It looks like he's holding his hamstring maybe there.
Yeah, it looked like perhaps when he made the slide to block the shot. And we just hope it's not a muscular injury, right? Those are by far the worst.
It certainly looks like maybe his right hamstring there.
But it was Trejo that was able to get inside the 18 and unleash the shot. So we'll hope that Austin Yearwood is okay. And there's some of the New Mexico United faithful enjoying the beautiful day on the grass berm. Of course, fans, we'd like to remind you, the USL on ESPN. It's an early season clash out west when El Paso Locomotive welcome the black and yellow of New Mexico United. Don't miss out as the next chapter of USL Championship Soccer continues. That's next Saturday, March 19th, 8 p.m. Eastern on ESPN Deportes. First away game for New Mexico of the season down at El Paso, another club with a new head coach this year. I'm actually going to be making the trip down I-25 for that game, Chris. Man, that's going to be a good one.
I think you need to get a job, man. Like, you travel all over the place watching soccer. This is got the life right there. But yeah, no, I mean, early season game against El Paso. It doesn't matter who's coaching, who the new players are, anything like that. That rivalry is real.
It is, and these are two clubs that saw each other in the preseason. And if you follow the social media for either club, you'll see that there was a bit of a dust-up between Alexi Soahi and, of course, everybody's favorite, Yuma. So no love lost between the two clubs over the offseason, as we're hearing that it's going to be a substitution here. Austin Yearwood will exit, and he will be replaced by Daniel Bruce. So the Englishman will make his debut here for New Mexico United this season under less than desirable circumstances. This substitution is brought to you by REDW CPAs and Advisors. There's no substitution for integrity. You're going to start to hear the fans, they're not booing. They're cheering for Bruce. So you can expect to hear that a number of times throughout the next 65 minutes or so. And there it is, Daniel Bruce. His season debut out of Warrington, England. This is his 63rd appearance for New Mexico.
Is there a more popular player for New Mexico United?
That's I don't think so. I mean, you can look at Bees, you can look at Kalen Ryden, but you look at Daniel Bruce, and he's been doing it since day one.
Yeah.
You know,
a cult hero, that is Daniel Bruce. I know one guy, Yancey. I might as well give him a shout out. I haven't done that for the last 2 seasons, and he gives me grief. So make sure he knows that he's the #1 fan in the Daniel Bruce fan club there. But just looking at there, it looks like Suggs has gone back to left centre back, taking up Yearwood's spot. Swartz has moved on to the left side, and Daniel Bruce is going to be matched up against Traore here. And it's going to be interesting because Swartz wasn't really getting much change out of Traore, so it'll be interesting there to see if Bruce can get anything.
coming down, that's Trejo unleashing one and sending that wide.
Mexico United caught it a little flat-footed there. There was just one, Las Vegas have built, kept the ball, moved the ball quickly, mostly on the ground. Just one long ball up the field there, over the top of Josh Suggs, who's just moved back to that left centre-back role there. And it was a decent strike. But yeah, New Mexico United need to be a little wary now, maybe, of that space behind them as well.
Yeah, and this also gives you an idea of how Zach Prince sees Sam Hamilton. As you made mention, Hamilton made plenty of appearances at center back over the last few years. So a viable replacement there, instead opting to put Josh Suggs back there and bring in Daniel Bruce. And they're going to say it was a handball on New Mexico. Our official Gerald Flores this afternoon. Into the 30th minute here at the Lab. Tyler Ortega, Chris Hurst, 2022 season opener here for New Mexico and Las Vegas Lights. The final weekend, or the final match, I should say, of the opening weekend here for USL Championship. And we are absolutely delighted to be here. Another Bank of America corner kick coming up for Lights. So far, Lights with just one shot on target. 3 shots total. New Mexico, no shots on frame. Off of 4 shots. Again, Bank of America corner kick. Played in near post, flicked over, and Tambakis looked to have had it covered in the end. I don't think he necessarily even needed to get a touch on it.
No, yeah, that was it Jennings again? I think it was, yeah, Jennings there just made a little break to the front post. I'm not sure if there was a little pick because he seemed awfully wide open there, and yeah, he'd probably be a little disappointed with that, with his conversion rate that he's shown. Like that was a really good chance for him, and he would hope to at least test the goalkeeper there.
Possession early on in favor of Las Vegas, 55 to about 45. But that was one thing Zach Prince was asked in terms of similarities in style compared to Troy Lesane, and he said, maybe expect us to play a little bit more direct when in possession. What do you think? Have you seen that here today?
It's been really hard to tell, because I'd say Las Vegas have actually, certainly, like their little combinations out there, they're really tidy in the midfield, where New Mexico United are really struggling to win the ball there, but Portillo does a really good job making it into a liar there.
Here's Preston. Tabordataka crosses in, looking for Nico Brett, and what a ball that was from Tabordataka.
But you can see that was relatively comfortable possession from Las Vegas. Then all of a sudden they're defending their 6-yard box. That's how much pace the New Mexico United attack has this year.
Which is completely night and day from what we saw last season. And that's no knock on the guys we had last season. It's just a different style, right? It's a different type of player that you have up there, rather than Brian Brown. And can't believe it took us over 30 minutes, but of course the absence of Devin Sandoval is noticeable. But you replace those big proper number 9s, those hold-up guys, with guys like Nico Brett and Preston Tabordataka. Speaking of Nico Brett, the Jamaican. Portillo now plays it through. Here's Swartz. Harry Swartz looking for Brett, and he looked to have just missed on the header. Nico Brett looking to get off the mark for New Mexico. Here's Jennings now. Lights looking to counter, and Kalen Ryden has that one covered. Things starting to open up here now, Chris.
Yeah, opening up for sure, and it is. New Mexico United appear to be setting up. When you said, is there a little difference? They seem like they're happy. In previous years, they've always dominated the ball, right? There was never really many teams that would come into the Lab and would have more possession. They appear to be really happy with allowing Las Vegas to have the ball, and then when they win it, can they break? Can they counter-attack? Can they get Brett, Preston? Can they get those guys in behind?
Quesada out of Granada Hills, California. Chrysostomo plays it across the pitch to Traore.
It was a great touch by Traore there under a lot of pressure from Daniel Bruce.
Traore, miscommunication there with Danny Trejo. Was looking for the through ball. It was cut out. Now Suahi will chase this down.
You can see as soon as Suahi got the ball there, though, what was he looking for? He's looking for Brett running in behind there.
Suahi, the Frenchman, coming over to New Mexico, listed at 6'1". I don't know. I talked to him in person a few days ago. He's massive. A lot of height for New Mexico this season on that back line. When you look at Suahi, you've got Ryden, obviously Josh Suggs. All three of them listed at 6'1". Ryden listed at 6'2".
They've definitely added some size, but yeah, I mean, everyone's massive to you, right?
You say that like I'm 5'2".
5'3".
5'4" on a good day. It looks like Alex Lara is down right now.
While this little break here, one of the conundrums that Zach Prince has got to try and work out right now is obviously one of the main attacking options that we haven't mentioned so far is obviously Chris Wehan. He's in that little pocket behind the two forwards and he's having to drift into these wide areas. These are the areas where he's really had the ball.
Bruce, and the foul is going to be called, and Bruce was looking to take it quickly. Instead, they'll bring it back, and it's going to be a set piece here for New Mexico, and this is one of the reasons you bring in Justin Portillo, a free kick specialist. Saw him whipping in some good crosses over the preseason, in training as well. So, 36th minute. Nico Brett now pumping shoulders in there with Declan Kanan, and some extracurriculars ensue. Ryden comes in to break things up. And for this being scoreless so far, Chris, we haven't been short on action.
No, yeah, there's definitely lots of talking points, and there's a lot going on in the 18-yard box right now.
Fiesta Auto Group free kick. Here's Portillo. And it's flicked on. It was Preston Tabordataka, and they're going to say it deflected off of lights. So another Bank of America corner kick coming up here for New Mexico. It's going to be Portillo making his way here to the near side corner. So you can see a full lab here today. It's an incredible atmosphere. The supporter section is lively. Here's Justin Portillo. Goes back post, it's Harry Swartz, and it's flicked in! Harry Swartz opens up the scoring for New Mexico. Welcome back, Harry Swartz. New Mexico on top 1-0 in the 37th minute.
Just listen to that noise. Harry Swartz had the freedom of Isotopes Park. No one from Las Vegas Lights picking him up. Defenders arguing with the referee about something now, but wide open, free header, and all he had to do was get it on target.
That is the first goal in black and yellow for Harry Swartz, and what a memorable goal it will be as he opens up the scoring on this 2022 campaign. The Boston boy out of Needham, Massachusetts, Harry Swartz, and look how excited he is.
And you called it, right? The set-piece delivery from Portillo, like on a plate for Harry Swartz. Interested to see the replay here to see if we can see anywhere. You can just see when this ball's whipped in, there's no one within 10 yards of him. Completely wide open at the back post. And I can see what the defenders are complaining about. I think it was Preston, maybe just had a little tug on his shirt as he was trying to get to the back post to defend it. I don't think it would have made much difference. But yeah, and another player who's been a little frustrated with injuries last year. Huge moment for Harry Swartz.
Huge moment for Harry Swartz indeed. Goals are brought to you by the Somos Unidos Foundation. Their goal is creating positive outcomes for every New Mexican. Las Vegas Lights now looking to counter. There's a Bank of America corner kick for the visitors, and well, this is how New Mexico scored. Played short, Danny Trejo now, and it's headed away by the goal scorer, Harry Swartz. Ball played back, Swartz now, and he's taken out from behind. And it's just going to be a free kick, as I think Crisostomo might have gotten away with one. It looked like he was really going for the ball.
Well, like we said earlier, I think New Mexico United very much Chris Wehan was breaking into the left channel there, and that's who Harry Swartz was trying to play the ball to, and yeah, he just stopped the attack. But that's definitely a ploy for New Mexico United. How quickly can they get the ball forward, that counter-attack, soaking up a little bit of pressure, allowing Las Vegas to have a lot of the ball, especially in these areas like here. And they're trying to spring the attack because they do have a lot of pace going forward.
Great defensive there, great defensive work there by the Las Cruces, New Mexico native Josh Suggs to stop the attack momentarily. Back to Leon. Harry Swartz, man, what a goal that was, and you could see the smile on his face as soon as he scored it. You talk about a guy that only made 12 appearances last season in his first year for New Mexico. As we mentioned earlier, had a sports hernia, had to undergo surgery. He did notch 2 assists in that opening campaign. But coming from Hartford, finally opening up his New Mexico United account. And you talk about another guy just like Daniel Bruce, who's quickly become a fan favorite here.
Yeah, and it's because of the way he plays, right? Like, he just wants to attack. And yeah, you know, he's played outside back a little bit, but as a wing back here, he's afforded the opportunity in this formation to just
Portillo, and he just sends that one wide.
But he just wants to get forward there, and you can see he's maybe being stopped in terms of dribbling past the right back, Quezada out there on the right there. So he just cuts inside, combines with Portillo, and Portillo not afraid to take a shot as well.
Leon will play this long, looking for Danny Trejo. Kalen Ryden is there. Preston goes to ground, and the foul is going to be called. Swartz takes the free kick quickly, and New Mexico United may have something cooking. Here's Daniel Bruce. Was looking for Wehan, gets it back from Brett. Bruce to Hamilton, and now back out to Sawahi. So Justin Portillo notching his first assist for New Mexico, and that's exactly what they brought him here to do. As you said, that ball was just served on a plate for Harry Swartz.
I literally don't think Harry Swartz had to move.
Here's Preston. And Tabordataka will win the corner kick for New Mexico. It's another Bank of America corner kick. Here's Portillo once again. Sends it in with the right foot. It's Ryden this time. He was looking to pick out at the back post. It falls to Wehan. Pops it up. And Romero is there. Quesada looking forward for Torres. Third minute here at the Lab. New Mexico on top by way of a Harry Swartz goal off a corner in the 37th minute. And here's Swartz, speaking of, flicks it on for Tabordataka, and now, let's see, it's going to be a throw-in, I believe, and each official looking at each other, and ultimately it's decided that it will stay here with the black and yellow. Look over at the sideline, you see a couple of subs warming up for New Mexico. Perhaps maybe an appearance by Jerome Kiesewetter in the cards. Sentences I'd never thought I'd say for 1,000. And now Swartz is going to go into the book. Here in the 44th minute, Harry Swartz with a yellow card.
And the locals are letting the Las Vegas players know exactly what they think of that, right?
Chance of Pobrecito echoing it throughout the lab. Here's Cal Jennings. The visitors looking for an answer, looking for an equalizer. Here's DeRoma now, plays it down. Traore's through. Traore with the cross, and it goes straight to Alex Tambakis.
Really strong number 9 play there from Kyle Jennings, holding the ball up, allowing the midfielders to get involved in the overlapping, allowing the overlapping run from Traore. Found a ton of space and probably should have done better there, just fired it straight at Tambakis.
In the 45th minute we are, as it dwindles down, we're hearing there's going to be 4 minutes of New Mexico Pinon coffee stoppage time. Great coffee, Chris, is a matter of opinion.
I've missed that.
It never gets old. So 4 added minutes here at the end of half number 1. Of course, we saw the injury of Austin Yearwood, which led to him being substituted off. The goal scored is this one falls to Jennings, and Jennings looking to hit a worldie here. Goes straight to Alex Tambakis. Torres tries to flick that one on. Ricochets off of Harry Swartz. Now Suggs working on Jennings defensively, and Suggs able to win the ball. Here's Sam Hamilton, Daniel Bruce, now the Englishman outside of the boot. What a ball. Here's DeBortataka, has Weehan up ahead, and Weehan, the flag stays down. Chris Weehan floats it back. Here's Swartz. And Swartz was looking for the brace. It also looked like Weehan may have been offside here on that run, Chris.
That was my reaction. I thought Chris Weehan was offside, but you could see Swartz was desperate to hit that first time. He knew he didn't have time for a touch, but the ball just bounced. You know, obviously it's New Mexico, it's springtime. I can't remember the last time we had rain. What was it, 1924 or something? And so it's it just bounces up too icy. He's forced to take a touch and closed down by the defender.
Ball goes back to Declan Kanan. Kanan out of Israel, came through the youth ranks at Maccabi Haifa. And this ball played forward. Here's DeBortataka, and all for naught, as the crowd is going to be disappointed here in just a moment when they realize the offside flag is up.
That was close. That was close. We just talked about Chris Weehan. I thought Chris Weehan was off. This one, I think my initial reaction was actually that it was on. It was a great ball, early ball by Harry Swartz there.
We were talking about Declan Kanan just prior to that. As English Premier League experience, he made his debut in a 6-0 defeat at the Emirates against Arsenal. Here today, playing in front of, I'm sure, maybe not the biggest crowd of his career, but a lively crowd nonetheless.
Be louder than what they have at Arsenal.
I'm not going to touch that one. Leon tries to drive that one forward and look to have just shanked it. There's the throw in for New Mexico. Sawahi he's had himself, I should say, pretty good debut here for New Mexico. This one falls to Suggs. He's looking for Swartz. Quesada was there, now Torres in possession. Torres loses possession. Here's Nico Brett now. Swartz gets it right back. Harry Swartz, and now it's poked away. Cal Jennings. Lights now looking to counter. DeRoma cut off immediately by Daniel Bruce, and now the foul is going to be called against the Englishman. So there's less than 30 seconds of stoppage time remaining here of the first half. Lara plays this one over the top, looking for the run of Danny Trejo. Falls beautifully for Trejo. Couple of step overs. And Suggs able to deal with it momentarily. Lara gets the next touch, but ultimately New Mexico able to thwart the attack. And that is the end of the first half here at the Lab. It is New Mexico 1, Las Vegas Lights 0. What are your takeaways here, Chris?
Lively. You know, it waited a while for that first goal, but it's certainly not been without incident. And, you know, Las Vegas Lights have played their part as well in a very lively first half. They've had some moments of that have caused New Mexico United some danger at the back.
It's halftime. The score is 1-0, presented by First Financial Credit Union. We're going to step aside. We'll be back with halftime.
There is a place where there are no roads, no conveyances beyond 2 legs, or 4. It's a vast swath of land set aside for adventure, for animals, for nature. We're visitors here in America's first designated wilderness, the Gila.
I'm on the way to the top, dripping, I need me a mop. I went and caught the balloons, now I need to pull the charger out the lot. Lately been praying a lot, I'm still the thanks of the God. I cannot help but to turn when I think of all the blessings I got. I'm still a young kid from New Mexico, just trying to make something out of my life. I see too many real ones slipping, so I'm trying to make sure that I'm moving right.
For over 50 years, BIOS has been proudly serving New Mexico. We love being a part of this community and the New Mexico United family, and helping everyone from homeowners to home builders create a space that's both beautiful and practical. Shopping local is about more than getting a great deal. It's about supporting your community, your neighbors, your friends. Visit BIOS in Albuquerque and see how shopping local supports your New Mexico community.
It's halftime here at the Lab, brought to you by the Somos Unidos Foundation, Art, Sport, Unity, and Community. My name's Tyler Ortega, Chris Hurst here in the booth as well. 1-0, Chris, here to the home side, and it's been a pretty fun contest here to call so far.
Yeah, I mean, no love lost between the two teams. There's been some. It's been a pretty feisty encounter, you could probably say, especially in the middle of the park. But lots of attacking intent shown by both teams, and it's been a bit of a chess match, I'd say. And New Mexico United probably just shaded it.
We've got a lot to get into here at the half, so let's go ahead and jump into it. These are the top 7 teams following the games played yesterday. Phoenix Rising, Sac Republic, San Diego Loyal, 1, 2, 3, all coming away with wins. Switchbacks also knocking off defending champs OC last night.
Yeah, we were watching that for a little bit, right? And that was a great game. And I just made a note earlier on that 11 teams started with wins. There was no ties, of course, until the game directly before us, Tampa Bay Rowdies and Birmingham Legion, where they played out a tie. So 11 teams started the season with a win.
And of course, we are back to the normal competition format this year. No more divisions, just straight back to conference play, home and away, all across the board there, across the Western Conference. So New Mexico will be welcoming all of those teams you just saw to the lab at some point this season. Upcoming schedule here for this week. You're going to see Atlanta United hosting Loudoun on Wednesday. On Saturday, we're going to see New York Red Bulls and Loudoun there. Detroit City, the newcomers, are hosting long-standing club Charleston Battery. And you'll see Los Dos and San Antonio in a Western Conference matchup. Memphis taking on Oakland in a cross-conference matchup. And Riverhounds hosting Hartford Athletic. Moving on now, the news and notes. Detroit City FC, the new boys, losing in their first match in USL Championship, where they lost 1-0 to San Antonio FC. It was Fabian Garcia scoring in the 68th minute. And then you see Birmingham Legion. That game, as you mentioned, Chris, taking place just before us, ending in a 1-1 draw. Goals from Marlin and Dalgard on either side. And then, of course, New Mexico United. Big news, the Open Cup is coming to the 505, Chris. April 5th, New Mexico, for the first time ever, going to be hosting an Open Cup match. And that one going to be across the street over at UNM with a couple of prospective lower division teams and some scores from around the league in this opening weekend. You see San Diego Loyal knocking off Los Dos 2-1. Sac Republic putting up a 3-spot on Locomotive, beating them 3-1. As we mentioned, San Antonio FC beating the new boys Detroit City 1-0. Phoenix Rising, they were up 4-0 on the half. At the half on Monterey Bay, Chris, the newcomers Monterey Bay able to score twice in the second half, but it's all for naught as Rising go on and they are victorious. And now looking ahead at the upcoming schedule for New Mexico United. We mentioned it earlier. Catch that game against El Paso Locomotive FC next Saturday on ESPN Deportes at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Then they're going to welcome defending champs Orange County to the lab. They'll take on Oakland Roots here for the second time. And then a big one I think that everyone's got circled. Easter weekend in the Valley taking on Phoenix Rising.
Some big games there, and obviously seeing teams like Phoenix eventually come into the lab as well. That's going to be huge for the fans.
This is going to be a ton of fun. We're going to step aside for just a moment. Again, it's halftime. The score 1-0, brought to you by First Financial Credit Union.
Birmingham and all the goal scorers getting in on the action today. Legion FC, how about that?
Sebastian Dalgard from distance, and he drills it! Wow! What a goal!
I mean, yeah, let's talk about today where I'm going to go.
Roll it down.
I am.
You don't need a car to listen to Sirius XM. You can listen anywhere. You know that, right?
What? Kevin Hart's Laugh Out Loud Radio.
Kevin, you could use your phone.
What? What?
Alexa, play Kevin Hart's Laugh Out Loud Radio on Sirius XM.
What? This is how I know you're getting old. I guess that was it. What?
Birmingham and all the goal scorers getting in on the action today. Legion FC, how about that?
Sebastian Dalgard from distance, and he drills it! Wow! What a goal!
Welcome back here to the lab, powered by Rio Grande Credit Union. New Mexico United on top of Las Vegas Lights FC in this 2022 season opener for both sides. 1-0 here at the break. and Chris. Let's go ahead and dive into the first half stats here today, and that's presented by Duke City Cares, your medical family. Of course, the most important at the top, that's goals. New Mexico on top, as we just mentioned. But then you get into some of the numbers here. 9 shots for the black and yellow, nearly doubling Lights. However, just one of those on target. But something that you made mention of in the first half, possession.
Yeah, and it's quite startling, that's all, it's not a million miles away from a 60-40 split, and that's something that maybe the New Mexico United faithful sitting in the ground today, they're not used to that. New Mexico United in the past have always dominated possession and dominated the ball, and that is definitely a new era with Zach Prince.
And there you see the 1 yellow card that was issued to Harry Swartz in the 44th minute. Swartz also going into the book by way of the goal, that one in the 37th minute. Let's go ahead now and look at some of the first half highlights. These presented by Will Ferguson and Associates. We're here for you, and we're here to win. So a lively first half, as we mentioned, Chris, starting off here with Preston Tabordataka going outside of the boot, just dragging it wide, but there you're getting a glimpse of what exactly he brings.
Yeah, and it was the chemistry between Preston and Blake, where it was a first-time flick over the top, just running through and just pokes it around the wrong side of the post.
Preston, as you could see, exactly what that would have meant to him, as he just sent it wide. And here Tambak is called into action early, as this was Cal Jennings. He had 11 goals last season, looking to open up his account here today, but he is shut down by the Greek, Alex Tambakis.
And he's been lively in the first half. A lot of the attack and play for Las Vegas Lights went through him, and Tambakis has had to be on guard.
And this, the one goal of the first half, it was Justin Portillo finding Harry Swartz at the back post. The first assist for Portillo in New Mexico United black and yellow, and the first goal for Harry Swartz in his second season, his 13th appearance for the club. And just look what it means to 33.
And I don't know how long you can just see Preston comes in at the background there and does his flip in the background there, but he had the freedom of Isotopes Park there wide open, and Portillo just put it absolutely on a plate for him.
We've got about 4 minutes left of this halftime, so we're going to step aside. We'll be back in just a few minutes with the second half. Don't go anywhere. You're watching the USL on ESPN+.
For over 45 years, we have been roofing New Mexico. Even though you may not know it, you have been covered by one of our roofs at some point. Now we're bringing the same high-quality craftsmanship that protects New Mexico's commercial buildings into the residential marketplace. Get a commercial quality roof on your home today. National Roofing, local company, national name.
Call 883-3000 or visit nationalroofing.com.
Well, folks, it's only 8 a.m. and it's going to be another hot one. Today's high is 85 degrees with lows ranging in the upper 50s. Tomorrow's more of the same, plus some light wind coming in from the northeast. Coming up at 8:30, Paul's got an exclusive...
Babe, it's 8 a.m.
Fried chicken, better with Pepsi.
Game time.
As a first-generation college student, I didn't have the guidance needed to navigate through college, but CNM made that easy for me, and they helped me every step of the way. What makes CNM special is that no matter what your interest is in, they're bound to have it here. You're looking for a certificate, an associate's, or even some kind of training, they're going to have that flexibility for you. My time at CNM has showed me that I can dream bigger than what I ever thought I could for myself. At CNM, you're not just a student, you're part of the family.
Back here at the lab, my name's Tyler Ortega, joined tonight by Chris Hurst. Chris, we're back for our second full season, I guess our third season here with the club in a commentary role. And what I want to ask you, since you did this a little bit in season one, what are some of the biggest differences that you've seen from then until now?
Wow. That's a loaded question right there, man. You didn't even prepare me for this either. Oh, that's crazy. I mean, the differences, I guess, it's Troy Lesane was obviously trying to build something that was, massive on and off the field. I think this year, clearly it's not that the off-the-field stuff has been forgotten about or is going to be forgotten about, but there is a clear push with the signings that they've made. There is a clear push that the push is that they want to win. They want to win the USL Championship. And I think that, and that's not that they weren't trying to do that in the past or anything like that, do you know what I mean? But there is a clear focus on the players that they brought in. They've identified the deficiencies from last year and from previous years maybe, and they've tried to address them with the transfers that they brought in. And again, that's not saying that wasn't a focus in the past. You know, The first year there was there was an obvious distraction of the Open Cup run, right? And what a wild ride that was. And I don't think anyone would change that for the world. But I also think that it'd be naive of us to not say that affected the league form a little bit, especially towards the end as well. This, like I say, it just feels a little different this year, where the focus is clearly on building a squad that can compete at the top end of the table.
You know, and Zach Prince, his first full season as a manager and his permanent job. You know, look at the record by season in 2019. It was 11 wins. In 2020, of course, the shortened season, 8 wins. And following that up in 2021 with a club high 12 wins, although missing the postseason. That's the benchmark that Zach Prince has to live up to. And to say that it's going to be easy is a lie, right? I mean, this is the USL Championship. It's improving every single season, and we see this. A lot of these guys are now making appearances for national teams in World Cup qualifying.
Yeah, no, that is a huge difference. And, you know, when we were sitting, you know, doing our homework for this game, sampling some local fare, let's say, and we were watching the Orange County Colorado Switchbacks game, and just the level of that game, the speed of the game, it feels like it's a completely different level to what it was maybe a couple of years ago.
I just want to give a shout out there to Alex Mansfield, Clint Gray, Lucas Cash, all getting involved there with the linesmen, making sure everything is good to go. There's Zach Prince, looking dapper on the sideline. No tie for Zach Prince today. Now, that was something that we typically saw with Troy Lesane. However, Zach going with the sweater vest there. Looks clean. I like it. Second 45 underway here at the Lab. Tyler Ortega, Chris Hurst on hand here on ESPN Plus, or if you're watching statewide throughout the state of New Mexico on Estrella TV. Thanks for hanging out with us. It's absolutely a pleasure to be here in front of over 10,000 fans here at the Lab. Season opener for the black and yellow. High hopes coming into this one as this ball finds the feet of Daroma, but Kalen Ryden's there, plays it back to Tambakis, and he really has no issue with Cal Jennings closing down. As to just scoop that out.
Yeah, he was really, didn't want to take any risks there, right? Because, like I say, Jennings in the first half, a huge bright spot for Las Vegas Lights.
I see what you did there. Bright spot, Las Vegas Lights. It's brilliant.
I would love to say I did that on purpose. Absolutely did that on purpose.
Here's Quesada. It's into Crisostomo. Here's Quesada again. Lara, the former Hartford Athletic player. Ryden whiffs on the tackle there and comes back, gets it on the second attempt. Very rarely do you see somebody get by Kalen Ryden like that. Traore. Signed with LAFC in August of 2020, did Traore. And last year for Las Vegas Lights, he made 30 appearances, starting in 23 of those. He's got some MLS experience under his belt. He made his MLS debut in a 3-0 loss to RSL on September 10th of 2020. So again, like I said in that first half, you're going to hear that a lot with these Las Vegas Lights players, with the club having the affiliation to LAFC of MLS. Bruce and Traore both go down, and Traore ultimately called for the foul. Daniel Bruce wins the Fiesta Auto Group free kick here for New Mexico.
Bruce did really well there. Read where the ball was going to go and just jumped it a little bit, and just beat Traore to the ball. You know, two committed players going for the ball, and looks like Bruce just got caught a little bit there. Definitely a free kick. Another dangerous spot with the set piece specialist there. You can see Daniel Bruce just gets ahead of him and just looks like a knee right in his hamstring. That'll feel good later on.
Daniel Bruce had 3 goals for New Mexico last year at Colorado Springs, at Real Monarchs, and then, of course, scoring in the final match day against Real Monarchs as well, where he chipped the keeper. Actually, is one of the better goals. Brucey, he really only scores bangers, Chris. This one fizzed in. Back post, it's Kalen Ryden, and it's headed down, and it's in! New Mexico United on top. Nico Brett opening his account for New Mexico United. 2-0, 49th minute. You couldn't have drawn it up any better for the home side. And he's got an Armando Moreno jersey that he holds up as his teammate still recovering. Nico Brett finding the back of the net for the first time in black and yellow.
Awesome, and I was trying to work out whose jersey it would be there, but nice tribute to Armando there. But another set piece to the back post. This time Ryden just heads it back into a dangerous area. Clearly something they've worked on the training ground, and it's great as a coach when something like this pays off in a game.
Nico Brett, he came into this season 7th all-time in USL history with 62 regular season goals. Make that 63 for the Kingston, Jamaica native. He was a 2021 USL Championship All-League selection with Birmingham Legion last year, and he's showing you why. That's exactly what they brought Nico Brett in to do.
Yeah, exactly, yeah, and that's something that New Mexico United struggled with last year. He only scored 44 goals all season. Las Vegas were only just behind them with 41, and Las Vegas, no secret, had a very disappointing season. One thing that Las Vegas would have been looking to fix this year, on the back of last year, they had the second worst defensive record in the league, and 2 set pieces have outdone them. They've looked fairly solid for the most part, maybe a little susceptible to the ball over the top in open play, but set pieces there, both to the back post, didn't react to them. A little bit of ball watching in the middle of the field. There was 2 guys wide open at the back post when Ryden put it back in there.
You know, and looking back, at years past when Zach Prince was the first assistant, he was mainly responsible for designing these set pieces. We saw the success that New Mexico had with those early on in club history, and now perhaps Zach Prince back to cooking up his magic, especially when you have a maestro like Justin Portillo to send this in. And speaking of Justin Portillo, here he is lining up for another Bank of America corner kick. New Mexico threatening here, and this one goes to the back post, and I believe that was Alexi Soahi. It was looking to get his name on the score sheet for the first time.
Another wicked ball in, put in such a dangerous area, just begging for someone to get on the end of it. But going back to the second goal, again, I don't think Kalen Ryden really had to move that much. It was just put right in his head, and all he had to do was decide, am I going for goal or am I putting it back into a dangerous area? Went for the latter, and like I say, 2 New Mexico United guys at there, and Nico Brett did exactly what he should do. And the goalkeeper came flying across, made a great bid at it, couldn't have really done much more, and Brett put it in the one area where he couldn't get a clean stop on it.
Nico Brett looking to provide some firepower up front from the striker position that New Mexico really haven't had it since another Jamaican striker, that being Kevon Frater in year 1. Played forward, and that's straight to Alex Tambakis. Nearly a 70% save rate for Tambakis last year. As we mentioned, his 7 clean sheets, good enough to be tied for 11th in USL Championship. Here's Suggs now. Over 15,000 minutes played in his career for Josh Suggs. Hand gives chase to this, and eventually thrown out, and a little bit of a shove, and now a yellow card is going to be issued to Alex Lara here in the 53rd minute. And Harry Swartz loves himself a good argument, but
if I'm Harry Swartz, I'm already on a yellow card from the first half. The one person you don't want getting involved in those extracurriculars, as you say, is Harry Swartz in the second half.
No, you're 100% correct. Harry Swartz is from the Northeast. You know, the passion that they have for their sports up there, particularly the New England area. You know, as club owner Peter Trevisani hails from that region. Of course, Trevisani, having played his college athletics at Boston College, played the other kind of football, American football, that is. So we're going to see a substitution here for Las Vegas Lights. Darren Iskandarian replaces Christian Torres. That substitution brought to you by REDW CPAs and advisors. There's no substitution for integrity. Right, and a miscommunication there with Tambakis as the keeper comes out and snatches it from just in front of his center back. That could have been really bad. And Weehan, we're hearing, also issued a yellow card in that previous fracas.
I was saying that because yeah, the way the referee was holding the yellow card, obviously you said, you know, it was the Las Vegas player, but I thought it was Weehan as well. You know, they both kind of got in it. Weehan kicked the ball at him, which probably instigated it. The tackle instigated it. That was the reaction. Then there was another reaction.
So Darren Iskandarian checking in, coming from the Barca Residency Academy. Here's Harry Swartz now. And Swartz able to win the free kick there off of Quesada. Swartz, a little indecisive there off the throw, gets it back from Weehan. To Hamilton, who'll get it back to Suggs, all the way back now to Tambakis. And fans, we'd like to remind you, don't miss a minute of the action in 2022. Whether your club is on the road or at home, catch nearly every second of USL Championship action on ESPN Plus, the home to the USL, MLS, La Liga, the Bundesliga, UFC, and more. Sign up today at plus.espn.com.
That second goal has just kind of knocked the wind out of Las Vegas Lights a little bit here. They've not been able to control the ball nearly as much as what they were in the first half there. They're kind of trying to find their way. They need to get a foothold in this game. Probably will start with Jennings in some way, but get him back involved in the game here.
Trejo gets it back off the give and go, and then immediately has it poked away by Kalen Ryden, the Norman, Oklahoma native. Ryden, of course, coming over to New Mexico prior to the start of the 2020 season, having won the USL Cup with Real Monarchs in 2019. So this is his third season here with the club, and I really feel like he's been that defensive stalwart that the club has needed. You know, and in the words of not just previous head coach Troy Lesane, and we've heard it all over the place, Kalen Ryden among the best center backs in this league.
Yeah, I mean, there's not a whole lot that he can't do, right? You know, he's strong in the air, he's strong on the ground, strong in the tackle, and he can play as well. You know, he's not just a defender. He actually, you know, starts a lot of the attacks, and a ball-playing centre-back who has all those other attributes is a really great thing to have, obviously, at the back and, you know, holding down the defense for New Mexico United.
Well, he found his name in the scorebooks last season, scoring here at the Lab. So you talk about somebody that can get it done in the air as well. We talked about the number of aerial duels that he wins. His nickname is the Golden Helmet.
I'm so glad you said that, because this is the first time in a while he's had the Swartz with him. And if you haven't seen Spaceballs, you won't get that joke, but it's brilliant. I've been waiting for you to say that.
We'll have to have a watch party over the weekend. Admittedly, I have not seen that movie in well over at least 12 years. It's been quite a while. '58th minute, New Mexico 2, Las Vegas Lights 0. Tyler Ortega, Chris Hurst here on hand at the lab in Albuquerque, New Mexico. 2022 USL Championship season opener here for either side. Ball falls to Portillo, and then he is fouled immediately by Trejo, and Danny Trejo is going to go into the book now.
I think Portillo saw that one coming. I think he knew he was going to, have to put his foot in somewhere where he might get hurt there, and he was able to jump up out the way. It looked probably a lot worse than what it actually was. Yellow card, fair enough, but...
So the yellow card there for the 23-year-old Danny Trejo. Was born in Morelia, Mexico. However, he grew up in California. He had 4 goals in 16 appearances for Las Vegas last year. He was the 14th overall selection in the 2021 MLS Super Draft by LAFC.
Kalen Ryden just making me into a liar there, where we talk about how good he is with his feet and just kick the ball straight out of play. Everyone's allowed one.
Trying to dribble through 4 defenders there was Iskandarian, and now ball played forward. Here's Preston Tabornataka. Portillo now looking to switch the play for Swartz, and Swartz, it falls to him by way of the header, and Harry Swartz lofts that one over the crossbar.
It's interesting, that's the first time I've noticed Chris Wehan able to get the ball behind the midfield line of Las Vegas Lights and turn and kind of bring the forwards into the game. He's had to drift wide to find the game. It's been a little bit of a frustrating night, I would guess, for him. But maybe there's a couple of gaps now that Las Vegas start to push a little further forward, trying to get back in this game. There might be more gaps for him to exploit.
Speaking of, that was Nico Brett looking to find Wehan with a header that was flicked on there. Danny Trejo, mentioned earlier, he made it 58 appearances in college at Cal State University Northridge. Scored 26 goals in those 58 appearances. He certainly knows how to find the back of the net. Here's Jennings, plays the cross in, falls to Trejo, and that's Zawahi getting in to stop Trejo from getting a shot on frame.
First signs of life for the second half of for Lights there, where Jennings running the channel really well. Trejo becomes the central player, and Jennings pulls it back to him. Great defending though.
Chrysostamo sends this one in. Ended up finding Lara at the end. And now New Mexico can break. Preston plays it forward for Brett. And the through ball. Here's Wehan. He's got the overlapping run from Tabornataka. Chris Wehan cuts it in. Here's Hamilton now. And Hamilton momentarily dispossessed, and now Lights looking to counter. Iskandarian cut out by Daniel Bruce, and Bruce draws the foul.
So it was a really, really quick break there, led by Chris Wehan in the forwards. And I think just when he came back inside, he gave the impetus back to Las Vegas Lights. They allowed them to get numbers behind the ball, slowed everything down.
Swartz plays this one to the top of the box, found Tabornataka, but unable to control. Traore will send this one long. There's the golden helmet.
There it is right there.
So we're hearing whispers of a looming substitution here for New Mexico. It looks like the Cameroonian Preston Tabornataka, his night may be coming to an end here relatively soon, and I believe we're going to see the substitution now, and we will entering the match. Albuquerque native, standing 5'11", it's Sergio Rivas. Rivas will be making his 30th appearance for New Mexico, having made 29 last season, 26 of those starts. He was 4th overall on the team with 25 chances created, also adding 5 goals to his tally last year. What do you make of this change here from Zach Prince?
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting whether it looks like right now he's just sliding up top with Brett, but, you know, whether he maybe comes a little deeper and it releases Chris Wehan to be a little higher possibility there, because, you know, Chris Wehan with his speed running in behind, Rivas likes to get on the ball playing centre mid, but obviously he was used in a lot of different spots last year. But again, this is a testament of the depth that this year that New Mexico United have, where bringing a player like Sergio Rivas, who was such an integral part last year, being able to bring him off the bench.
Romero looks to play this one long, and nobody on the receiving end of that one. Thomas Romero made 5 appearances here for Las Vegas Lights on loan in 2021. Prior to that, had 18 appearances for LAFC and MLS. Hamilton just has that one played out, and it's going to be back to Lights. 65th minute, 2-0 to the home side. Here's Trejo. Lights looking to find a goal, looking to pull one back, and Bruce gets taken out once again. And that is the 3rd time Daniel Bruce has gone down, and looks like we're going to see a yellow card.
It's the 3rd time that the exact same tackle though. He's just so quick over the first 2-3 yards, and he just beats people to the ball, so he just keeps getting taken out there. See, he just nicks the ball there, just gets a touch, it just gets cleaned out. And again, that's the 3rd or maybe even the 4th time that Bruce has had that done to him at the exact same tackle.
And a good show of sportsmanship. You see Traore walking away, actually went over to check on Daniel Bruce. Mohamed Traore yellow carded here in the 65th minute. So we've seen a number of yellow cards being handed out today. By my count, that's the 4th. Lara, Wehan, Swartz, all the others in the book so far.
Last year, Las Vegas Lights, the most fouls committed and the most yellow cards.
And Las Vegas Lights, I mean, they had a 2021 to forget, only notching 6 wins throughout the campaign, losing 23 matches and just 3 draws. As we may know earlier, moving on to Enrique Duran as their head coach. And you know, we talked about him earlier, having spent time at FC Barcelona and the Johan Cruyff football organization. Well, how about this? He led the LAFC Academy to the CONCACAF Champions League victory. They're the first ever USA-based club to do so. So while this may be his first time at the helm here for Lights, he's certainly got some experience as Bruce crosses that one in, and Romero is there at it. Nico Brett looking to tie up a brace. Ryden has Jennings on his back and heads back to Tambakis.
See though that head just got caught underneath the ball there a little bit, Kilray. Looking at the flags out on the outfield there, it's blowing straight into Tambakis' face there.
Bruce puts the cross into the 18, dealt with momentarily by Kanan. Balls to Crisostomo now. Traore. All the way back to the Frenchman, Alexis Souahi. Just pointing out, it looks like we may have a couple of subs coming in now for the visitors. And we do. So it looks like we're going to see Christopher Janey. Christopher Hyman, apologize, as he replaces Daroma. Ball played forward here. Trejo's asking for it. He gets it. Here's Trejo, right-footed effort. And he just sends it wide. Well, we were saying it was over 10,000, and we are now confirmed 11,247 on hand here at the lab, powered by RGCU. Chris, what an opener this is for New Mexico. The second largest crowd on opening day in United history, topped only by their inaugural opener back in 2019. The club hosted Fresno.
Big Dev with the opening goal that night.
Absolutely just written in the stars. The first signing in club history, Devin Sandoval scoring first that night. Sandoval also with the first playoff goal in club history as well. Hamilton was on the ground briefly, but able to get up and walk off under his own power. Ball falls to Kanan and just play it out, looking for Danny Trejo. Michael Kanan having previously spent time with Sacramento Republic over the 2019-2020 seasons. Elsewhere in USL, played with FC Cincinnati and with Las Vegas Lights last year. Bruce over to Hamilton. 70th minute. Swartz in space. It's got Rivas making the run back post. Nico Brett floating in here in the 18. Finds Portillo, who has it poked away momentarily. And eventually Lights able to get out of some trouble. That's Christopher Hyman. Swahi will win the foot race to that one.
See, just a little reshuffle for Las Vegas Lights there. Lara's dropped into the back forward, centre back. Leon out to right back, allowing Jaime to slot into midfield there.
Another sub that we forgot to mention was Jorge Almaguer. He's also checked in here for Lights. Goes by Ima out of Dallas, Texas. Having previously played with North Texas SC in League One. As part of the FC Dallas Youth Academy from 2011 to 2019. Had 4 goals scored for North Texas SC over the 2 years he was there from 19 to 2021. He was the USL League One champion with North Texas SC as well in 2019. 21-year-old. Here's Trejo. Hyman now, Iskandarian. Back to Hyman. Ryden will usher this back to Alex Tambakis. So New Mexico, their 4th season as a club, Chris, up 2-0 here with about 17 minutes plus stoppage time to go. Believe it or not, looking to open up their season with a win for the first time in club history.
It's interesting, and you can just see right now, Las Vegas Lights, they need something. They need something different. It's it's comfortable for New Mexico United. You see Kalen Wright just marshalling the back line, pointing the Tambakis, letting the ball run through the Tambakis, just bossing everything back there right now.
Here's Rivas. The Albuquerque native Sergio Rivas gets the cross in. It was partially blocked. And ultimately it's Traore deals with it, but as you said, it goes straight all the way back to Alex Tambakis, and New Mexico will take their time here. You know, and with 74th minute, New Mexico, they got to be careful. They can't get caught faffing about here in the back line. Can certainly lead to trouble. As we mentioned, the final game of opening weekend here as part of USL Championship. One of two games on the day. Birmingham and Tampa Bay Rowdies drawing earlier 1-1. Setting goals there from Marlin and Dalgard. Portillo scoops this one forward. Falls back to Nico Brett. Nico Brett and sends that one wide.
New Mexico United definitely finding some gaps now that they're very much settled into this second half, and picking their moments to go forward. And the movement of Rivas has added a different dimension up top there as well. He's not staying on one side of the field. He's basically running across and making it very hard for the two centre backs of Las Vegas to know exactly where he is all of the time.
Well, you look at just, man, the depth, right, of this New Mexico lineup. You bring in Sergio Rivas off the bench in this opener. You're talking about a guy that started majority of the games that he played in last year, started 26 of the 29 games he appeared in. So the luxury of being able to bring a player like that off the bench for Zach Prince, it's got to be wonderful. And then, we saw the jersey tribute earlier to the missing Amando Moreno. What kind of wrinkle is that going to add when he returns?
And Wehan talked about it in the press conference this week. I think he said iron sharpens iron, right? He said There's just so much competition for places that can only be healthy.
Leon puts the cross in. Going to ground there was Iskandarian. He's not going to get any foul call. And Bruce has that one blocked. Darren Iskandarian has dual citizenship, the United States and Armenia. He's got some appearances, 3 appearances for the Armenian U16s, the 19-year-old. Speaking of, there he is getting the cross in. It was tipped, and Alex Tambakis is there. A lot of youth on this Las Vegas light side. Got a few players that are 17 years old. Just looking at the roster, I see about 4 of them as of right now. Just looking for Nico Brett on the through ball, but Romero was there. Near side, this is Trejo. Far side, excuse me. Swartz just relieving some pressure here.
If you're a New Mexico United fan, or one of the techniques that you're obviously delighted with 2-0, but the little glimpses that you can see of the chemistry beginning to build, pre-season, the 16 days in Chula Vista that they spent basically bonding, where they were around each other for the whole time, and you can see little moments like the little give and goes, the patterns in the attack in a third are starting. It's not happening all the time. There's some frustrating moments for sure, but you can see there's little moments where it's starting to come through. And if you're New Mexico United persuasion, you're one of the technical staff you're really happy about this early in the season, those things are starting to come out already. Offside?
Yeah, actually, they're going to change the call here. It looked like lights were setting up for a corner kick, but ultimately it's ruled as offside, and it's going to be a free kick here for Alex Tambakis. So these next 12 minutes here, Chris, are going to tell you a lot about this black and yellow side. Last season, we saw it a lot where they had some leads like this going into the final 15 or so, and there were some of those that ended in draws. I think there was a stretch there in the middle of the season where it was just tough for New Mexico to hold on to these leads. So really going to get a look at the mental fortitude they have, their conditioning here as well, as they look to hold on, as I mentioned, for the first ever opening day win in club history in their 4th season. Here's Nico Brett. He's got Rivas, and he's got Weehan, and Nico Brett goes to ground, no foul called. Trejo loses possession of that. Gets it right back from Suggs. 3-on-2, 4-on-2 here for Lights. Here's Trejo, threads it through and unable to connect with Cal Jennings on the through ball.
It could be said that that was your fault.
Pretty much.
Everything was pretty comfortable until you mentioned the end of games. But yeah, no, I mean, that will be, the Prince will not be happy with that. 4-on-2 should never happen.
Here's Rivas. Back to Sawahi. Suggs now. Oh, and Suggs, that's a bad giveaway from the captain, Josh Suggs. Back to Almaguer. Ryden's got that under control. Sawahi. Bruce now. Into Rivas. Here's Daniel Bruce. He's got space. Nico Brett in the middle. Headed away by Lights. Falls to Sawahi now. Here's Alexi Sawahi! And it's saved by Romero. Sawahi, we know he can score goals. Had 5 goals in the previous 3 seasons with Louisville City. And Sawahi, that's his second good look at goal here today.
Yeah, and you can see his eyes lit up. Like, you know, it's a perfect place just inside the 18-yard box. Good save by the keeper there. Sawahi probably, you know, would think to himself that he probably should have done a little better with that maybe. But again, good save by the keeper. And here's another dangerous set play for New Mexico United.
Justin Portillo and Josh Suggs in no hurry whatsoever to take this Bank of America corner kick into the 81st minute. We are Tyler Ortega, Chris Hurst here on hand at the lab in Albuquerque in front of over 11,200 people. Here's Bruce. He's looking for Weehan, and it almost falls, and now the offside flag is up on the near side, and let them play on. The flag did go up by the AR. Through ball looking for Danny Trejo, and you can see Trejo, he's tired. I mean, you can see the altitude starting to take effect on some of the Las Vegas Lights players. Looking at the elevation in the city of Las Vegas, Nevada, just 2,000 feet above sea level here in Albuquerque, nearly a mile above sea level. So you can see the tired legs starting to set in.
Yeah, and you know, it's not only the altitude. I mean, obviously that's the main thing, but also it's first game of the season. Yeah. The adrenaline in the first half, the big crowd, all of that plays into where, yeah, they do. They look a little leggy right now.
Nico Brett back to Daniel Bruce, puts the cross in, finds Swartz, who's looking to just flick that on for Weehan. It falls to Rivas, and he tried to scissor kick, did Sergio Rivas, into the waiting arms of Thomas Romero. Jaime knocks it back for Crisostomo. Switches play to Leon now. Tony Leon out of Long Beach, California. Was a substitution that looks like we might have missed. We'll get to that in just a second. This one falls to El Mesmari. Suggs gets a head on it. Falls to Hamilton. Sawahi now. And New Mexico clears the danger, but as I was mentioning, Bruce El Mesmari out of Cancun, Mexico, has entered the match for Las Vegas Lights. Falls to Jennings now, and Jennings just loses possession. Again, there's that fatigue factor. Rivas now plays it out for Weehan. He's got Brett, Bruce, and Rivas all in support. I was looking for Daniel Bruce, but the Englishman too far gone on that one.
New Mexico United, this game is really stretched still. And if I was New Mexico United, I'd think about maybe just shutting up shop and hanging on a little bit more to what they've got and maybe try and spring counter-attack. But right now it's still really stretched, and there's lots of gaps for Las Vegas to pick up. If Las Vegas were to get a goal right now, it would make for a very nervy last 10 minutes or so.
Looking to play the through ball there is Ima Almaguer, just a few steps behind. And Harry Swartz now down for New Mexico.
Looks like he's got a touch of cramp there.
Helped up by the official, Gerald Flores. And Flores, as the official, he's had himself a good game as well. Able to maintain control of the game. He did have to hand out almost a handful of yellow cards. Tembakis, a little bit of gamesmanship, we'll call it.
Claiming he didn't know it was a goal kick. Clearly everyone knew it was a goal kick.
That's a real veteran move there from Alex Tambakis. Tambakis actually the first ever signing in Atlanta United club history. Didn't make an appearance for the team. He was immediately loaned out over the last handful of years. Tambakis among the league leaders in saves, but that also means among the league leaders in shots faced. Swartz throw into Rivas. Jaime gets a touch, but it falls to Hamilton. Here's Jennings. Is that poked away by Ryden? Suggs now will usher that back to Tambakis, who just deals with it with his left foot. We're going to be seeing a substitution here for New Mexico. The substitution brought to you by REDW CPAs and advisors. There's no substitution for integrity. And we're going to see a debut for the youngster Carl Saint-T, the Haitian, making his debut here for New Mexico United. Carl Saint-T, New Mexico fans better get familiar. This is a guy who has scored for Haiti at the U17 World Cup in Brazil in 2019. He also appeared for Haiti's national team at the Olympics as part of their U23s. Is a big save there from Alex Tambakis. Weehan now looking to dispossess Crisostomo, and he does. Saint-T, only 19 years old, is the Haitian. He was actually recently called up to the Haitian senior men's national team.
Interesting time to make a sub there, because they've moved New Mexico United. Zach Prince has moved around quite a few pieces there. And, you know, yes, it was a throw in, but still a set piece in the defensive zone there. And nearly caught out New Mexico United. Weren't quite organised, dangerous ball into the box, dealt with by Tambakis. But Suhi's come to the left centre back. Hamilton's gone to right centre back. Suggs back where he began, at left wing back now. And St. has gone into midfield there. So a little bit of a reshuffle, but no change in formation, just a little bit of a shuffle of the jigsaw pieces.
Well, and I'm sure as a manager, when you have so many interchangeable pieces, that makes the game so much easier.
Yeah, and that's something that Prince talked about in the presser, right? About that flexibility, you know, within games and within the system, and that's individually and the team, and you know, having such a strong squad where there's not the players who didn't start tonight will likely start in other games. It's in England they say it's horses for courses. It's, you know, who's going to fit a certain style or a certain field. You know, play from a relatively smaller field here, and then you suddenly go down to Texas and RGV, and that field is massive down there. You know, so you maybe have to have a different look there.
I want to give a shout out to all of the supporters groups here today. We've got the Curse, Black Diamonds, La Maldición at Sector 114, the Set Piece Ultras. Apologies if we're leaving anyone out. Adding to an incredible atmosphere here on this opening day, Chris. Again, 11,247 on hand. "30 seconds remain here of the 90, Chris.
Heck of a way to start the season if you're black and yellow, right? It's, you know, a little, maybe motivated a little bit. The preseason odds that we spoke about earlier, no one really giving New Mexico United a chance. So all of these guys, if you remember year one, going back to what you asked just after halftime about what's changed, that year one was all about the chip on the shoulder of New Mexico United, and maybe there's a little bit more of that. You know, like last year it didn't go their way, and this year, you know, maybe going back to that, playing with a little chip on their shoulder.
Leon puts the cross into the box, looking far post, and unable to direct that towards goal was Bruce El Mesmari. Mesmari spent time through the Pachuca youth system in Mexico from 2015 to 2021. Last year for Las Vegas Lights, 17 appearances, 1 goal. We are into stoppage time. As you can see, 3 minutes of New Mexico Piñon coffee stoppage time. Great coffee is a matter of opinion. I just look over and you're cackling over here. It's amazing. Rehan gonna draw the foul. Just what may be our final Fiesta Auto Group free kick of the evening. The sun setting here in Albuquerque, daylight savings time, affording us an extra hour of daylight. And as we mentioned earlier, temperatures in the 60s here today. Just couldn't ask for anything better. Portillo notched his first assist for New Mexico here today in his debut. It's Bruce. Daniel Bruce, it looks like he's been taking some dancing lessons over the offseason.
Just managed to waste an extra 10 seconds in the corner there by not actually touching the ball.
Look at that, Chris. Sorry to cut you off. That is New Mexico true.
It's nowhere better for sunsets.
I like how you threw that in there. For sunsets.
For sunsets.
So 45 seconds, less than 45 seconds remain. For all intents and purposes, this one's over, Chris.
And, you know, there was that little flurry of maybe a little inexperience from New Mexico United where they were left open a little bit. But since then, they've managed the game really well to close out the game. Really smart, win it, you know, buying some free kicks. Yeah, just killing the game.
Bruce dancing around. Here's Nico Brett. Can New Mexico find a third? Not there. Saint-E now to Rivas, and ultimately it's Crisostomo coming in possession. Now Suggs, he'll give chase. Sawahi. And full time at the Lab, New Mexico victorious on opening day for the first time in club history. Zach Prince notching his first win as the permanent manager of New Mexico United. It was Harry Swartz scoring in the 37th minute to open things up, followed up by Nico Brett after the half in the 48th minute. Chris, your initial thoughts?
Yeah, and you could see the wind has played a little bit of havoc in the second half there, but great opening night for New Mexico United, getting some players back from injury, Sam Hamilton, Swartz, and Swartz obviously having a big say in how this one ended.
Zach Prince went from former first assistant coach to racking up his first win as the gaffer for the black and yellow here today, beating Enrique Duran's Las Vegas Lights side. You can see Harry Swartz, Needham, Massachusetts native, notching his first goal for the black and yellow. So let's go ahead and now got some post-game awards to give out here. So we'll go ahead and show our play of the match. That brought to you by Michelob Ultra's Harry Swartz's goal here in the 37th minute. Justin Portillo serving that up on a plate.
Yeah, and you see, just makes a little run from deep and just completely unmarked, freedom of the 18-yard box, and just picks a spot.
And as we mentioned, Harry Swartz's first goal, he was fired up. Look at the passion from him there. And now getting into our man of the match. That is going to be number 7, Nico Brett, scoring. It's his first goal with New Mexico United as he continues to climb the all-time goal-scoring charts here in USL history. That is his 63rd regular season goal, doing what he was brought here to do.
Yeah, right place at the right time for that one.
Here, this is our save of the match. It was Alex Tambakis. Save of the match presented by Invigorate Roofing. Alex Tambakis has this one covered as Lights were looking for anything, a grasp of hope in the 87th minute, but that is the Athenian Alex Tambakis saying, not today. We're going to go ahead and step aside. We'll be back to wrap things up here in just a moment. Full time at the Lab, New Mexico 2, Las Vegas Lights 0.
Game time.
Blazing the trail, I be feeling like Dame. I feel like EA cause I'm in the game. You rappers do anything for the fame. Not like you rappers be lame. They do a whole lot of talking, but better disrespectful when all of them speak on my name. You cannot walk in my shoes for a minute. I look in your eyes and see we not the same. Blazing the trail, I be feeling like Dame. I feel like EA cause I'm in the game. You rappers do anything for the fame. Not like you rappers be lame. They do a whole lot of talking, but better disrespectful when all of them speak on my name. You cannot walk in my shoes for a minute. I look in your eyes and see we not the same. I'm on the way to the top, yeah. Dripping, I need me a mop, yeah. I'm when it caught the Balenci, now I need to pull the charger out the lot, yeah. Lately been praying a lot, yeah. I'm still thanks to God, yeah. I cannot help but to turn when I think of all the blessings I got. I'm still a young kid from New Mexico, just trying to make something out of my life. I see too many real ones slipping, so I'm trying to make sure that I'm moving right.
Back here at the Lab, it is opening day victory for the home side, New Mexico United. Tonight's full-time final score presented by Duke City Cares is 2-0. And let's go ahead now and look at these full-time highlights. Brought to you by Will Ferguson and Associates. Chris, this one was a lot of fun, as we're about to see from these highlights. And it started off early, as it looked like Preston might be opening his account.
Yeah, and it was just a flick over the top by Brett there. Chemistry really starting to build early on in the season here. Just poked it around the wrong side of the post.
And that just giving you a glimpse of what exactly Preston Tabordataka is going to contribute to this side. The pace up top, and here on the other side, it's Cal Jennings able to wrap his foot around one. Tambakis called into action early, Chris.
Yeah, and Jennings was very lively up until about the 60th, 70th minute, somewhere around there, where he faded. But, you know, Tambakis had to be alive to that and pushed it away from danger as well, which was big time.
Tambakis in the semifinals for Save of the Year last year, putting up another worthy effort in this. A ball served on a platter from Justin Portillo. The set pieces were really working here for New Mexico today, Chris.
Yeah, and unbelievable delivery, and it was the same all evening. And yeah, Harry Swartz just makes a run from deep, wide open. No one within really 10 yards inside the 18-yard box, which should really never happen. And yeah, great balls in by Portillo, same as this one.
And this one headed on from Ryden. He finds Nico Brett. 63 career regular season goals for the Jamaican. Nico Brett, that's exactly what they brought him here to do, and that's exactly what he does.
Yeah, right place, right time, and he had to be brave. There was a pretty good chance he was going to put his head in a dangerous place there, and Keeper did everything he could, and the celebration afterwards.
And he gets the Armando Moreno jersey, as his teammate still recovering from the torn ACL that was suffered late last year against San Diego Loyal. And here, perhaps the final massive effort required by New Mexico. It was a big save from Alex Tambakis once again.
Yeah, and it was just, New Mexico United Court just made a sub right before this moment. A little unorganized. Jennings just kind of wriggled out of danger there. And yeah, and a great save again by Tambakis.
We've got full-time stats here, brought to you by Duke City Cares, your medical family. 16 shots for New Mexico, 5 of those on target. You made mention of this. We talked about this at halftime. Not very often do the black and yellow concede possession here at the lab. However, showing just how potent the attack is, despite losing possession by nearly 11%, 11% exactly, they still had more than twice as many shots as Lights.
It's, efficiency, right? They had maybe less of the ball, but created so much with it, and they were dangerous all evening here. So yeah, that looks like that might be a change that New Mexico United fans look to get used to this season.
Well, the 11,247 fans that were on hand here tonight, majority of them, I'm going to go ahead and say all of them, probably leaving happy here tonight as New Mexico getting victory on their first, for the first time on opening weekend in club history here in Season 4. That's going to do it for us here. We're going to wrap things up from the lab for everybody here tonight. Our director, Gary Williams, Chris Hurst on color commentary. My name's Tyler Ortega. Thank you for watching.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League Championship cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the expressed written consent of the United Soccer League Championship.